Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to our first episode of KDUA. And the host of today's podcast is me, Kevin, Daniel, Axel Sparza, and Uriel. The topic of today's podcast is a background on genocide and our opinions on it. We're going to investigate how genocide happens in the first place and when we think countries should intervene on it. Hopefully you guys find this episode interesting and stay tuned for the next one. Enjoy the podcast.
Starting us off, Uriel, what does genocide mean? What are the motives to genocide and what are some examples in the real world of genocide?
Genocide means killing people and dehumanizing others, especially when it comes to economics, because people are always hungry for power and money, and this is perpetual. It is all connected because people want power and money all for themselves, which is just selfishness, and has a big impact on others that are not as strong against the superior. War and mass killing, which happens perpetually.
Daniel, what is the book Exterminate All the Brutes? Who wrote it and why?
Alright, so the book is called Exterminate All the Brutes, and it was written by the author Sev Lindqvist in 1992. The book is about information of an examination of Europe's dark history in Africa and the origin of genocide. He was conveying a thesis of the origin of genocide and applying Charles Darwin's theory of evolution to rationalize a mass killing in Africa.
What is natural selection and how is this connected to genocide in the 19th century?
So natural selection means that a certain group of people are dominant to another and how they are able to adapt to other lands because they are suited to live. Natural selection connects to genocide in the 19th century because Europeans believed that they were a dominant race and others are far below them, which gave them the right to commit genocide because they believed the weak don't deserve to live.
And lastly, what was the European justification for committing genocide against people of color?
So the European justification to commit genocide against people of color in the 19th century was through the use of imperialism and the belief that they were superior than other races. Because they wanted more power and believed that they are more dominant out of everyone in the world. And they humanized the weak, so they are seen as worthless, which gave them the right to go and to attack others, since Europeans say that it is natural for them to commit genocide. The book Exterminate All the Brutes states the commission of imperialism is a biologically necessary process which, according to the law of nature, leads to the destruction of all lower races. And this gives us the idea that the weak can be dehumanized and can be taken over by other countries that are stronger, and the conviction of imperialism leads to the destruction of nations.
And lastly, the one ending us off is Kevin, and I have some questions for you today. What are the 10 stages of genocide, and why is it important to know them?
Alright, so first of all, 10 stages of genocide explains how groups organize genocide and how genocide comes to be. For example, polarization shows how genocide are influenced between people in a nation.
During the 10 stages of genocide, do you think countries should intervene?
I believe countries should start intervening at the discrimination stage because that is when people get influenced to commit genocide due to them losing rights from other superior groups.
Why do you think genocide still happens to this day? Will we ever see it again?
I believe it does. I think genocide still happen to this day because of mostly economic situations. For example, a reason a group of people might have to commit genocide is due to other groups taking over their jobs / way to make money. This can be something like other groups of people taking the local stock of products they sell. I don't believe genocides will ever stop altogether because in order for it to stop, that would mean that the world will have to be at equal and at peace.
I think that genocide should be stopped before it gets planned out, but also how these classifications lead to genocide. Stay tuned in for the next part of our podcast showcasing the 10 stages of genocide and how they are connected to war, dehumanization, and economics. KDUA,
Out!